All right, so this is Kelran again with another painting tutorial. Um, I've done a lot of Space Marines so far, and I feel like the filthy heretics deserve a little bit of love. Who doesn't? And you know what? We're going to be painting a model today that I feel is so underappreciated. I love the detail that goes into these Poxwalker models, but they are a horde choice, which means when most people are putting them on the table, they're cranking them out in groups of anywhere between 10 to 20 to 40, depending. Some people base whole armies around these guys. There's a pretty fun list where you need to take extra because as your cultists and whatever enemies are unfortunate enough to get close to them die, their size increase. So when you need that many models on the table, it's a travesty when I see Poxwalkers just base coated, shaded, and thrown out on the table, and not cared that much. When you look at this guy, look at all the model detail that goes into it. You can see this cybernetic arm sculpted on here, the organs coming out, the maggots. Gosh, sometimes you heretics can be gross, but we will jump right into that. We're going to be starting out with a base coat of Bugman's Glow. All right, the Bugman's Glow base coat is done, and as you can see, I left his cybernetic arm unpainted because we're going to be base coating that one in Lead Belcher. All right, now that the Lead Belcher base coat's done, we're going to go ahead and do our Kislev flesh for the outer layer. If you want, for Poxwalkers, they are undead zombie things. You can go for lighter tones like Rackhearth flesh, or, I mean, I've even seen people go all the way and just do Administratum gray or Deathguard green. I personally like to give that little bit of human touch to the Poxwalkers. That way they just seem that much more tragic and a little gross to look at because, hey, it's Nurgle. If it doesn't make you throw up, you didn't paint it right. All right, now that the Rackhearth, or that the Kislev flesh has been put over the main skin, I'm going to take the Rackhearth flesh and I'm going to pick out all the maggots that are digging into him, the horn bone protrusions. Jeez, I almost invoked Fulgrim again. And I'm going to pick out the details with that. And his organs, I'm going to go in with a shader coat of Daruchi Violet, just to add that bile kind of effect. All right. I also added the Daruchi Violet to the maggots because I really liked the way it made them pop and look kind of wet and slithery. Especially since they were digging into his insides and what's spilling out of them was really looking like I wanted it to match. But now I'm going to go ahead and paint that loincloth of his. I'm going to go ahead and go in and go really light on this one. I'm going to use a gray. I'm going to use Administratum gray for that. And I'm also going to use it to pick out his teeth and his horns. All right, now we're almost done. Look at that big pearly smile. Let's dirty it up a little bit with some of Nurgle's munificence. I'm going to go ahead and hit him with an all-over Agrax Earthshade shade. And then I'm going to touch up with a sepia tone and something special. All right, and there's our completed Poxwalker. If you're wondering what that something special was, I coughed on it. No Nurgle model would be complete without just a little bit of viral fun. All right. If you have any questions about any process I used or technique in this particular model, feel free to leave them down in the comments and I'll try to address them in the next video. And if there are any Chaos players watching, let me know which models you want me to paint. These ones, they came with one of the other army boxes I had. They'd been sitting around. I finally started putting my Death Guard together, convinced by a friend of mine at work. I was literally sitting on a whole army I had and not playing it. This is the first time I started in on the Poxwalkers, though, and they are such a cool model to look at. There's just so much detail. And remember, when you are painting models with a lot of detail like this, or really any model, you should be doing 2 thin coats. Don't rush in there with thick globs of paint. Thin it out, let the modeling show through, let that detail in. Once again, I have been Kel Ran, and this was another painting tutorial. I will catch you in the next one.